Hey guys, how's it going? And thanks for coming. I'm Nick, and this is Real Life Money, where we talk about real life and money, because you know schools aren't. Don't forget to subscribe. So let's get started. So guys, for this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the old side hustles that I had when I was younger, when I was like teenager and growing up, and sharing them with you. Maybe you could possibly get involved with one or two of them. Were they all worth it? Absolutely not, but I did learn from them. And side hustles are a great thing because, you know, working somewhere is great, but you also need something on the side to continue pushing you forward to grow yourself. Now, the main part of this video is not necessarily the things that I've done, but the mindset that I have, that you have to constantly be thinking of things to do, whether it's things to grow your money in different ways or things to grow yourself somewhere, but just constantly thinking of opportunities out there and take advantage of them. You can't binge watch Netflix every weekend, it's not good for you. So that's why we're going into it. So like I said guys, making money throughout my life was very interesting, I guess you can say. I started as a teenager, started working at McDonald's, making nothing really, but we all have to start somewhere, but that's where I started. Started at 15, technically 15. I wasn't put on the schedule till I was 16. So I wasn't getting rich with them anytime soon, so I took some things onto my own hands. Starting off with the first side hustle the first main side hustle that I kind of got involved with was online surveys. Before going any further, I'm not recommending this one at all, to be completely honest. For those of you who understand online surveys or who don't, basically you just take surveys online and you could get paid for that. It sounds pretty cool, but here's the thing. I did get money off of that. Let's start out with that. I've been doing it I'm not doing it anymore, but I did it for years and I made a few $100s with them. But basically what happens, you take a survey, let's say it was 10 to 15 minutes, and you would get like 25 to 50 cents. Now as a kid, I had the time to do this, and even small amounts of money made it seem like worth it completely. So that's what I did. Now there are a bunch of scam sites out there, so do watch yourself if you're looking into this type of thing. But I'm not recommending this just because it takes such a long time to get not a lot of money. That's why I would not recommend it. You could use that time much more efficiently in other places, but this is where I started. And there also weren't just surveys, there were like advertisements or videos that you could watch. They were however long, maybe like within a minute, you get a couple cents. If you guys are familiar with Groupon, if you purchase something on Groupon, you could get a cash back and it gets put into your account on that survey site. So I got some money from that. And also emails. They send you maybe like 1, 2, 3 every day. So when you click on the email, you get like 2 cents. And that's it. And you have to, it just adds up throughout time, unfortunately. I am still doing the emails just because I go through my emails every single day. It takes like 2 seconds to click through it. I'm not getting rich off of it, but over the long term, it'll eventually add up. It's gas money. So since you're not retiring with that one, let's move on. If you're interested about the site that I used, again, not recommending it, but is Inbox Dollars. I did that for a little bit. Moving on to the second one, since you're not retiring with online surveys, I got into scrap. Like scrap metal, going to scrap yards and scrapping stuff for money. My dad was a machinist, so there was always metal around when he was done like with his jobs. We took the scrap to the scrap yard every so often, and got money from that. But we eventually got into scrapping TVs, interestingly enough. This was like during high school. So we were set up in our basement. We had like a table and we were disassembling TVs. It was borderline insane. It was interesting. So we either got like old TVs that we had in our house, or if we saw like some in the garbage, we took our mom's truck and brought the TV home to disassemble and, you know, take out the metal that we needed or the copper wiring inside, and then you could scrap that. So honestly, while doing that, it was strangely therapeutic. Just like, I don't know, disassembling the things and getting out the wires. It was interesting. Again, probably wouldn't recommend it. It is possible. But me and my brother were doing that for, I don't even know how long, maybe like a month. So we finally brought all the stuff to the scrapyard and we ended up getting 60 bucks. We split it between each other and we got $30 each. So we're like, that's it for that much work. So that's why it ended real quickly. And fun fact for you guys, we almost got into this next one. Borderline insane. Not sure if it's legal, but let me explain. Don't worry. If you guys are familiar with, like, if you're into electronics, they have gold-plated pieces inside them. So if you, this is where it gets like ridiculously insane, but you could use chemicals to take the gold plating off of certain electronics, and then you could like melt it down and it could form into like gold little nuggets. So doing that, you would have to rip out all the gold pieces. You would have to get chemicals from God knows where. The fumes would probably knock you out. Then you would have to melt this at ridiculous temperatures. The crazy part is that it could have worked, but we weren't that insane. If you want to try it, it could be a science experiment. Do it outside, I would recommend. But it's a lot of work. We didn't cross that line going into that territory, but we were thinking about it. So the next thing is obviously we probably all heard of and could be most relatable, but the certain things that we did were very interesting. But I'm relating to Amazon and eBay, and I really got started with them when I was going to college, because we were, of course, everyone has to get textbooks, overpriced things that we barely used. No one read them. It was just pointless, but we or so-called needed them in most classes. So it kind of started when I had like old textbooks. I'm like, I'm never using these again in my life, so might as well try to sell them on Amazon. So either I could get a few bucks back, I could either get all my money back, or sometimes I made profits. This could be relatable to a lot of you if you guys are still in college or have old textbooks. Some great times to actually list them would be before, obviously, before semesters start. That's when everyone's looking for them. So my strategy was to have the lowest priced book on there, so I could sell it quickly. I just want the money and get out, and it worked fairly well. So that was with like old textbooks. Now interestingly enough, just because I have my business mindset on all the time, but I went to the bookstore just to see like what their prices were. Most bookstores are jacked up in prices, but I'm like, let's just see if I could maybe like buy and sell somewhere, you know? So one amazing opportunity that I found, it was like some type of calculus book, I think, but in the bookstore it was $30. On Amazon it was $80. So I actually bought it from the bookstore to sell it on Amazon. Before fees and everything, that's a $50 profit per book, which is amazing. So I would literally list the book on Amazon. I wouldn't buy the book until I sold it. So when I finally sold it, I went to the bookstore, bought it, then shipped it out, and that's how I made a few decent dollars. I was using the bookstore as my inventory, which I thought it was like ingenious when I really thought about it. So if you guys could find not only that in like bookstores, but if you could find like maybe in any other type of store, if you could find a really cheap item, or even at like garage sales or wherever, and sell it more online, you could take advantage of that opportunity and make decent money. Next, bringing your attention to these figurines. These are my brother's, by the way, if you're ever, they're always in all my videos. You're probably like, what the heck is that? That's a Predator, by the way. Freaking awesome. But, so my brother and I kind of got into that as well. If you guys are familiar with the game BioShock, awesome game. But we got that figurine. We were like in Florida, and it cost, might have been like $25 or something like that. And he researched them so often, he knows that they go up in price over time. So we ended up buying 2 in Florida, one for like, because we just wanted it, and one for an investment. And I think he held it for maybe like a year. So that $25 item, surprisingly enough, was pushing $200 later on. That profit is amazing. He did that and I was blown away. So that was with that figurine. We had another figurine. If you guys like Batman, hopefully you guys like Batman over Superman. If you want to fight me on that, go for it. But I think Batman's cooler. But anyway, there's Scarecrow's a villain in that. I'm talking about it because it was a collectible figurine, collectible action figure, whatever. And we saw it in a store for maybe like $20. And we sold it online like that day for $60. I also had a Godfather poster or type of interesting wall art type of stuff. I actually had it sitting right here when I first started doing YouTube a long time ago. But I ended up buying that for $20 and later selling it for maybe like $80. So Amazon is a huge opportunity. If you find low priced items, you could make a nice profit on that. The thing is, you have to keep your eyes open. Aside from the collectibles, we also did like old video games that we had, whether it's from like Nintendo 64, GameCube, other types of games that we had, and we made good money off of it, honestly. So definitely look around your house. Just watch out for shipping. That could kill you for like bigger items just because it costs so much to ship. We also were like dealing with consoles like Xbox Ones and PS4s. I remember we stood outside a GameStop just to get a PlayStation 4, and because it was in high demand, it like just came out. People were going insane for it, especially before Christmas and everything. So we got our hands on it and we sold it for a nice profit. Now there might have been other little side hustles that we have, but those were like kind of the main ones that stood out to me of what I've done. And just to get your mind going, guys, just always look out there for opportunities. Like, how could I make money on that? How's that industry work? Well, online is a huge opportunity. There's an app, Let Go, I think it is. Basically, it's like an app for a garage sale. You don't have to set up a garage sale. You take a picture of it and you can sell it through the app. Just constantly be thinking of things, guys. Have some type of side hustle. I'm also getting involved with, obviously, YouTube. That's a great side hustle that I love to do, so I could get you guys to think more about it, because school is definitely not teaching about this stuff. So let me know if you have any questions, comments, concerns. Let me know down below. I would love to know what you guys think. If I'm insane for doing this stuff, let me know some of your side hustles if you did any. And don't forget to subscribe, guys. If you're interested, you can follow me on Instagram. I have bonus content over there. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Work on that side hustle.